Hey everyone, thanks for all the support that you guys have been given in the latest videos. Lots of comments, lots of requests. So I think it's cool that everyone's been kind of chiming in. I guess this happened last year with the M1 and now with the M1 Max. Let's keep gaming, let's keep testing. Now, I just want to answer the question of, just from my initial test, would I recommend getting this for a sole gaming computer all in one? I think the answer is no, it is not there yet. And we're just going to start off with kind of why. So there's a couple ways to, and I've made a couple videos on this, how you could get Windows games. One method is Parallels, which what I'm showing right here is Parallels. And then another way, I guess I don't have the window open. It's this thing called crossovers, where then you could run Steam. And so I've been testing out a couple of games. Let me see if I can get the brightness better so you guys can read my screen. New World, Crysis, stuff like that. And the simple answer is, for a lot of things right now, if it has anti-cheat, it will not run. So for example, I'm going to try Apex Legends. Well, I guess I can't because I have New Worlds up. So let me show you the crossover version of New Worlds. It actually launches and runs. You can kind of get an idea of what the FPS would have been if the anti-cheat worked. I just literally made this new account. If you can read here at the top corner, it's 30 FPS. So you can't actually game, but you could get an idea of the gaming performance. What happens is it won't even let me join the server. Here's some of the gameplay or the visuals. It's set to full screen at the not Retina, but the 1728 by 117. And then the presets are all set to high. So at 30 FPS, this game would have been playable. But then when I go into play and then the queue, hopefully I don't get banned for this. The anti-cheat is not loading with Wine or crossover. So that's just what happens with the M1 Mac ARMs. You're not fully able to get that layer that you would need to run. And it just, as you can see here, it just doesn't run. Or it doesn't let me connect. So you can't play this new AAA titles, and that's kind of the theme I've been seeing with other games. Let me see if I could go back to my Steam. So yeah, this is the Windows version from Crossover. I have Crysis and New World installed, and then even in the Parallels version, this version just straight up tells, it won't even launch, and it tells you, hey, you can't well, it was telling me maybe I have to restart. It was saying like, hey, unsupported ARM can't run this game. And you'll see the same thing here, like even for Apex Legends, you try to run it, tries to launch, tries to run this easy anti-cheat. This was the same thing that was present in the M1 version, unsupported host architecture ARM64. Back for Blood, the same exact issue. I guess the same people too, easy anti-cheat, just cannot run on the ARM64. Now, I just tried Crysis Remastered because the original on Parallels wasn't working, and I know that on Crossovers it launches. So I'm going to try doing that. Again, you see here, it doesn't even run. Now, there is a new game I was testing. I'm going to download Max Payne 3 to see. Last year I did the benches there, but I'm going to double check how it is with the M1 Max. So the Ascent actually runs or launches. And if you could read that kind of small, during the menus, you'll get about like 330 FPS. Let's take a look at what the settings are. So yeah, kind of choppy. Couldn't really get, again, it's the full screen, not Retina, and I had to go to windowed mode. And then everything's set on low. Now, I'll say this game is playable. You'll get at like 30 FPS. But again, like I'm about to post this new Blender test comparing the G15 3070 with this M1 Max. It's like it depends on what your real needs are. If you really want a game and have zero compatibility issues, you're gonna either have to get a Windows computer or do GeForce Now, or just build a desktop. And honestly, like one of my friends has Parsec, and that has run pretty fine for him. But you see, it runs kind of at 30 FPS, so this game is definitely playable. Um, and I kind of jumped right into this video, but I want to actually go back after I do a couple. Let's play for about a minute, and then I'll talk about actually some of the settings I had to do to get this playable, because it's very important if you when considering the M1 Max, the amount of RAM you get. So there's some stuttering going on that I'm at least noticing. Not 120 FPS, but again, this is, if you think about it, running on parallels, running on multiple layers of virtualization. So pretty impressive if you think about it from that standpoint, to at least get 30 FPS, and the graphics look decent, or pretty good, I guess. But there is just some choppiness that, like, if this game's a shooter, this is like kind of the intro, not really showcasing it. Um, you are going to you're gonna kind of wish that you had 60 FPS in this, and then again, on the RTX version that I have, I could get DLSS, which improves the performance as well. So that's a thing that even if I was going to Windows, I would choose NVIDIA over AMD because of um, the the RTX features and benefits you could get. So let me take a step back and go into some of the configuration, because I think this is important to that could help you guys. So in Parallel 17, in the hardware issues, they actually combined it different from 16. That it says that the graphics are used with a shared memory. So in the trial version, you could click the link below. I have an affiliate link. I don't know how much money it gives me if you guys pay or whatnot. I think I got like $5. So that's a cup of coffee. If you guys want to get me a cup of coffee, you could click the link. Um, but I set the memory to 24 gigabytes so that hopefully I could have a dedicated 8 gigabytes of video memory and then 16 gigabytes of RAM. When it was set before to 8 gigabytes, it was just unplayable, and then 16 gigabytes was so far I can't tell the difference between 16 and 24 gigabytes. And so I think that's an important distinction when you're making your parallels. Be sure to set the memory to 24 gigabytes, or maybe test out 16. I'm still got to do some benchmarks there, but I know for sure in at least what I was just showing, the Ascent, it was just not playable at 8 gigabytes total RAM, which would be 4 gigabytes RAM in Windows and 4 gigabytes RAM in the video. So I guess one thing you may also want to consider, if some other YouTuber ends up showing it, there might be a case that you might even want. I mean, besides like the Windows capability issues, you might want to get the 64 gigabyte version if you're planning to play some of the games that are on Windows parallel. And I'll say that there's a website you guys just go to called Apple Gaming Wiki, that you could just see which ones work and like the statuses on that. But I just wanted to kind of make yet again another gaming update. Let's see if Crysis runs, because this wasn't running on Parallels, but I think it runs on Crossover. And then I have also remastered them. I have to download remaster on Crossover if this doesn't work. Let me go ahead and restart and test. So I'm going through my initial setups. I'm going to restart my Parallels, and I'm going to see if Crysis Remastered runs on Parallels. Things open. Thanks for being patient with me as I'm kind of going through this journey with you. Excited to see what runs, what doesn't. Um, yeah, it looks like Crysis doesn't even run, though I thought I was able to get it before. Let me see. Go ahead and start downloading. I'll of course be testing this machine. Let me check if Crossovers runs the Crysis Remastered, and I'm about to test. Oh, God of War's coming out. I'm about to test the Remastered here. See if it even launches. So yeah, just nothing pops up. Again, going back to the compatibility issues, um, this is some of the problems with the M1 Mac. So keep in mind, I've been kind of got a lot of games to test. Crysis Remastered on Parallels, Crysis Remastered on crossovers. Not launching here. I know that this will run, and then let's go ahead and let's try. I'm downloading WoW. That'll be one of my next videos. Let's go ahead and try to do um, League of Legends. Let's play a game of ARAM. And I'll get it set up. All right, so I'm actually gonna pivot to do League of Legends because I realized I have to download this stuff. I think on this version, I have Overwatch already downloaded, and I'm going to say and show you guys actually that Diablo 2 restructured doesn't launch on Parallels as well, and then on crossover you can't even get BattleNet opening, so can't run Diablo 2. I'm downloading WoW on the macOS version, and then we're gonna test out Overwatch. See here, failed to initiate graphics. Please ensure minimum graphics is installed so it doesn't run. Let's go ahead and test Overwatch, see how that setting is. And again, it is noticeable the 120 frames per second for games that are compatible. But I would just say right now, you're not getting, well, if you're just pure gaming and want the best experience, you probably have to go with a G15 with an RTX enabled. So we're gonna do training. Seems to be fine. Take a look at what the settings are. Graphics quality low, limit FPS display based. How to go high. So this seems smooth. This seems like it's working. Let's keep testing it out. Let's see if there's an FPS timer so I can showcase. Whoa. Okay, I don't know what's going on. Oh shoot, I found a game. Maybe. Let's go back to the practice range. I was having a mouse issue that could be Could be a parallels thing. I know I saw Dave 2D do this, so I know this game works. Let's see what happens here on the mouse and keyboard. Don't optimize for games. Let's see, optimize for games. Keyboard, don't optimize for games. Let's see if that changes anything. Because oh, there you go. So it looks like optimize for games works. I'm getting some spikes here, but the settings are on high. Let me see if I get an FPS counter. That's on. Okay, so this thing says I'm getting 110 FPS, but I'm noticing, and you can probably see it on screen, some spiking there. And this is, of course, just a training mode. Exactly sure why it's spiking. Now it's going to about 60 FPS on medium, which is interesting. And kind of these lag spikes are happening. I would get out. Get out of the practice range. I've not played this game in a while. I mean, it's definitely showing 120 FPS, and even though I'm literally not showing anything of value, but this little inside mode, I don't exactly know why. And these lag spikes are kind of weird. Not ideal. I think this thing's supposed to open. I just literally can't open it. So I guess when you do optimize for games, your mouse gets really weird on the parallels. So I'm gonna go back and turn that off. Right. So that was kind of a little bit of tests or updates on the compatibility issues from these games. Literally, like none of them run. Valorant, New World, Diablo 2, Crysis Remastered, Ascent. I know Max Payne runs on the M1. And then I'm just gonna the next videos will be World of Warcraft, and League of Legends. So you saw some Overwatch there. I think I actually have Starcraft II downloaded. So let's test that out too. I'm kind of just all over the place on what I'm testing. But again, that's why we have video bookmarks and editing. So let's see how the native Mac OS runs Starcraft 2. All right, everyone. Equipment. Okay. Let's go to training. Let's first AI. Let's go ahead and play. So this is on native Mac OS, no parallels, no virtualization, running on the M1 Max. 100% downloaded. Just doing a testing, see how it runs. I think there's a setting to get FPS. It's super small. I'm gonna have to 30 FPS per second, and I am on kind of a high resolution. Let me bump this down. And then everything was set on extreme, so that's pretty good. Um, so now with the resolution bumped down to 1920, which is not Ultra HD, getting decent frames per second. Doesn't seem to be any noticeable lag. It's not 120 frames per second that you would get from a from utilizing ProMotion, but this is definitely playable. There are some lag spikes I'm noticing. So let's just keep playing this out for a bit. You get the gist, though. You could play Starcraft II on this. You could probably bump the settings down. Let me see what happens when I go to like not extreme. Let me just go high. FPS is really small, but it's still saying about 40 frames per second. Definitely runnable. This is the lowest FPS I could go to. Um, Seems playable to me. That would be kind of my take on StarCraft 2. Definitely playable. But again, going from just from a compatibility standpoint, I just don't think that users would like that a lot of the core AAA games are just not supported. Um, that's kind of the takeaway that we saw from um, that we saw in the previous M1s, and still Windows and game developers haven't supported, updating, their support for ARM. So until that happens, you're kind of bottlenecked both by, virtualization and by just game support. But I will say that even like Surface laptops, right? The Surface X, if you get that comes on ARM, you're still not gonna be playing these games. So kind of the same thing. See what the hotkeys are to set control groups. I won. Let's do this. All right, so you guys have been leaving comments. That's been awesome. Diablo 3, I could download. It's macOS native if you guys want to see it. Otherwise, World of Warcraft is downloading. Max Payne is downloading. And Crysis Remastered is downloading. So let's see if crossovers and parallel crossovers is able to handle Crysis Remastered. Otherwise, I can't get Crysis to run on any machine. So that's been it for kind of this M1 MacBook Pro, M1 Pro MacBook Pro kind of look. Some download a bunch of games for you. Leave comments below. I think I got more requests for rendering tests and stuff of that nature. And then of course, if the previous video, I have 2 tests now on Blender. So hope you guys enjoyed. If you like this content, want to support some of the stuff I'm doing here, I think it'd be awesome if you guys subbed. If not, just watch this stuff and get either the Zephyrus G15 or something else. But yeah, you guys are awesome watching these vids and leaving comments. Appreciate all that. I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.